Bruh. So let me get this straight. African Americans were calling for a boycott of Target, and now Jay Z is partnering with them, right? For the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, he's exclusively releasing that with Target. Um, I think this isn't even the first time. Obviously, I think at a certain point, if you're not seeing what I'm seeing with Jay Z, you're just never gonna see it. Honestly, this isn't even the first time he's done something like this. Back when people were boycotting, NFL over Colin Kaepernick, Jay stepped in. He partnered with them too, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like the question becomes impossible to ignore. Is he actually for the people like he says, or is he simply for the business? I think he's simply for the business, and I think if you can't see that, you're having a lot of reasonable doubt in your head, right? So I don't know what's going on, right? Like one partnership by itself isn't like a big deal, right? But when it keeps happening at moments where people, especially black people, when it keeps happening at moments where people are protesting a company or organization, people start noticing a pattern, right? The NFL, they were clearly getting a lot of heat. Jay Z partnered. He essentially saved their PR, gave them good PR because black people were on their head. A lot of black people watch NFL, bruh. A lot. And Target is now getting heat. I personally like Target. I personally like to go to the Target once in a while. You know what I'm saying? If there's no WalMarts around, I'll go to the Target. I personally don't give a fuck. But if we're talking about the hypocrisy of Jay, if Target is getting heat, Jay Z partners. NFL is getting heat, Jay Z partners. At some point, people gotta stop calling it coincidence. It's not coincidence. We've been seeing it. We've been seeing this at least since Magna Carta. At the very least since Magna Carta, because literally he partnered with, I believe it was Samsung or something like that. I think it might have been Samsung. Did the whole thing with Timberland, and because of that, it sold a million first week because of the partnership. Right? I don't recall Samsung being too DEI, right? Having many DEI initiatives, right? Shit like that, right? A lot of people argue Jay Z consistently aligns himself with powerful institutions when controversy hits. The timing just creates the perception that business opportunities matter more than principles, more than solidarity with your own people, right? Jay Z, Hove, the guy that's supposed to be um, basically Kendrick times 10, right? Black power, black business, black Wall Street, black equity, all this blackety black shit, right? If you can't see it, you will never see it. That is the thing. One thing people always say is you can't become a billionaire thinking like an activist. That's true. I hear a lot of people also say there's no such thing as a good billionaire. What is a good billionaire? What is an ethical billionaire? What is that? Billionaires protect and grow capital. That is it. To at least maintain that the wealth that they have, their purpose is to protect and grow capital. Activists are often willing to sacrifice it all, sacrifice money, sacrifice all types of shit for the principle of movements, the principle of shit, right? And you know, it's like those two mindsets don't always align, especially when you're someone that's being looked at as the hip hop savior. Oh, Jay Z, Hove, right? I'm Hove, right? No one can tell me nothing, right? Look at what I do for my people. All of this shit, right? So when people see Jay Z making these moves, they wonder: is he making decisions as a member of the community or as a billionaire investor? Because the amount of wealth that you have can change the incentives that you strive for, right? A lot of people also believe that his priorities, clearly, that we can clearly see, a lot of people you know, have seen that his priorities have shifted from representing the culture to protecting his business empire. It's been like that for the better part of at least 13 years. At the very least 13 years. We even saw it before that with Rockefeller and shit. This isn't anything new. So if people are acting like they're surprised or they don't want to speak on it, it's because they are shook. They want to be able to go to his concert. They want to be all up at the show. They want to all in the videos and all this shit, right?
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Like, imagine you're somebody, right? Just imagine. Imagine you're somebody who genuinely stopped spending money at Target because you felt strongly about the issues involved, right? Then one of the biggest black cultural icons, Jay-Z, partners with the company, whether intentional or not. I personally don't really care that much. But if we're going to keep the same energy, keep the same consistency, whether it's intentional or not, that can feel like your concerns are being dismissed. That can make you, as a black person, feel like you are not being heard, right? Symbolically, it weakens the pressure a boycott tries to create because, again, with the NFL shit, the NFL got a lot of pressure for that Colin Kaepernick shit. A lot. But what did Jay-Z do? He came in, swooped in like, yo, let's stop all that kneeling shit. Stop all that kneeling shit. Saves face. It's like I could see how some people see it as crossing the proverbial picket line, right? Now, to be fair, now, because I like to argue the opposites, I like to do counter arguments. I'm a very counter argumentative guy, right? Now, to be fair, Jay Z would probably argue the exact opposite. He'd probably say, like, sure, I don't create change by standing outside the room. I create change by getting inside the room. Yeah, it's your boy Ho. Uh, that's been his philosophy for years, right? He's been saying a lot of this shit. If you actually listen to what he says in his music, in his freestyles, right? He says a lot of that shit. In order to really make a change, you got to infiltrate the system. You got to be inside the system, right? This is a counter argument. This is what the Hovengers would say. They would say partnerships create more opportunities. They would say the economic influence may be more effective than just public protests, right? Working directly with the corporations isn't automatically betrayal, right? He may believe that ownership and access, right, create long-term power, right? He might genuinely believe that. He might genuinely believe that. So here's where the real debate starts. And Mark Lamont does get a lot of shit for kind of being very safe and pandering a lot, but with this, I was very impressed that he was actually standing his ground, and mostly everybody else in the room, not so much. It's like they were almost scared of this nigga. Like,
after the NFL boycott, you partner with NFL. There's a Target boycott. You do a deal with Target. At the end of the day, it just starts to look, as Joe would say, it starts to look away. Mm-hmm. When every time there's a boycott, you pop up working with those people.
And even the Black Queens are calling out Jay-Z, for his controversial Target partnership with Reasonable Doubt 30th anniversary. Though even the Black Queens are seeing the light.
Jay-Z has consistently showed us time after time again that for him it's going to be partnership over principle. We remember when he backdoored Dame Dash, when he made those partnerships in his own favor. Then we seen when Colin Kaepernick was going through it with the NFL and ended up being blackballed. He didn't come to his defense. And now right in the middle of our very own people, his very own people, being in the middle of a Target boycott, he is partnering with Target. And so I think what the biggest issue is here, that we look for these quote unquote iconic people that so many idolize to be leaders. And for them, it's only about legacy building, and that's their own legacy. Forget the people.
Ooh, come on. Come on.
And again, I like to argue the opposite. People like Wayne were also out here historically, Jay-Z defender historically. But I kind of see where he's coming from. He's kind of defending him.
Turn to some of the other people who have products, not just products, but artists who have done vinyls, and specific vinyls exclusive because they changed the color or whatever. Same music, but they, distributed through Target. One in particular was an album that came out this year, J. Cole's The Fall Off, Target exclusive edition, right? Then of course we have Kendrick Lamar, right? You got GNX that had a Target exclusive vinyl. You have Pink Friday 2, which is a Target exclusive vinyl, right? But the reason why I even wanted to point these things out is because it seems as if whenever Jay-Z does something, everybody gets riled up and remembers, oh shit, there's a boycott at Target. But when other people have done it, it's never existed, or they just reluctant to even mention the shit.
In my opinion, it's like when you're constantly in the forefront and you're supposed to be the black activist, all of my ops are MAGA Republicans, right? When you're pushing this ideology, when you're pushing this as this is who I am, and you're aligning yourself with something that's probably going to be in demand, 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, that's going to be in demand, right? I would like to think so, right? That's exclusively with Target now. Why not exclusive to a black-owned business in New York, maybe? A black-owned anything? Black-owned online anything, right? So, even historical Kendrick Stan accounts or Stan personalities like Justin Hunt, you know what I'm saying?
My critique of him is how he uses and manipulates situations where working class people and black people are organizing and mobilizing, deconstructs that movement to partner with the legitimate opposition, right? While presenting himself as this big advocate.
He even finds an issue with this. If even he finds an issue with this, because he historically is very on that side, right? But even he argues that Jay-Z repeatedly, and we can all see it, we're not blind, we all see that he's been doing this for the better part of 15, 20 years now, honestly, at least 13 years. And he repeatedly aligns himself with social movements and then later partners with the very institutions those movements were critical of. He's been doing this. So shout out to Justin Hunt for actually keeping it a buck. Shout out to Justin Hunt. Shout out to Mark Lamont. Shout out to all the people that are actually seeing it for what it is and not being jaded because, oh, it's Hove. It's Hove. And again, if Drake, I hate to bring him up again, but the jig is up. Clearly, if Drake did the same exclusive deal with Target, right, with Walmart, Kohl's, right, Best Buy, he would have been dragged through the mud. The quotes would have been, see, he isn't for the culture, he's disconnected from black people, that's the yarmulke in him, right? You see, he's a vulture. See, he's really not like us, right? They would be saying all of these things. All of these K-bot talking points you see on Twitter. It's not real. It's not genuine. But why are we acting surprised? This has always been Hove. This has always been Hove, in my opinion. Not to excuse it, but that's always been him. So I'm curious what y'all think. Is Jay-Z helping the community by building relationships with powerful companies? Or has he become a billionaire made to be loyal to corporate interests than the people who helped build his legacy? to begin with. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's your boy Wordu. I'm out.